Greeting to Dr. Sana. My name is Olivia Batang, metric number 71264. Today, I want to present my final year project. My topic for this research is the relationship between working environment and employee engagement among the private sector's employees. I will begin the presentation by explaining the introduction of my topics. Nowadays, employees seek purpose on the workplace and at home as they define themselves more holistically via their work and life. One of the employees interested in a healthy working environment. According to RAIN Asia 2021, a data shows that employee engagement in Malaysia rose to 67% in 2020 compared to 54% in 2019. Employee engagement is a crucial point, especially for private sector businesses, as well as to keep a pleasant working environment for the employees. To preserve a competitive edge over other private enterprise, private sector corporations try to offer the greatest work environment for the employees. Therefore, working environment has correlation with employee engagement and need to be concerned by the private sector to stay competitive and profitable. The general objective for this study is to identify the relationship between the working environment and employee engagement among private sector's employees. As for the specific research objective, the first objective is identify the influences of physical working environment on employee engagement. Number 2 is identify the influences of psychological working environment on employee engagement. Number 3 is identify the influences of social working environment on employee engagement. And the last one is identify the most dominant factors among the working environment factors. In this slide, we're gonna see about research question and hypothesis. As for the research question, there are 4 questions, which is what is the influences of physical, psychological, and social working environments on employee engagement, and the other one is what is dominant factors that influencing employee engagement. As you can see, there are 4 hypotheses that will be studied in this research. Hypothesis 1 is there is a significant relationship between physical work environment and employee engagement. Hypothesis 2 consists of there is a significant relationship between psychological work environment and employee engagement. As hypothesis 3 is there is a significant relationship between social work environment and employee engagement. And the last hypothesis will be we will see there is a dominant factors among the work environment factors that influence employee engagement. As for the significance of study, the literature review will support in discovering about the workplace environment, the importance of enhancing it, and the mechanism through this change may be achieved in this study. HR practitioner may be able to discover the positivity within the organization through comfortable and clean working environment that assists in building employee engagement. It is also significant that the physical, psychological, and social environment help policy makers in organization, especially the HR, apply the value of organizational culture, interpersonal relationship, and organizational trust in order to affect employee engagement at work. Through structured learning process, this study expected to improve the capabilities that individuals require to accomplish their present tasks and prepares them for future roles. It will benefit the private sector in providing good working environment for the employees to keep engaged. Every research must have their own limitation. The fact that this study was conducted at one organization in specific physical area limited the generalizability of the findings across the private sectors in Sarawak. Research limit is the research sample representing private sector employees who work in the same organization, which is manufacturing company in Kuching, Sarawak. Since there are various types of working environment, this study focuses on three variables only, which is physical working environments, psychological working environments, and social working environments. Literature review. The Hunt engagement theory plays a significant role in this study of the relationship between work environment and employee engagement. The theory supports in employee properly maintaining areas in their work while also allowing them to see the impact their work has on organization success. Based on the empirical studies of the relationship between physical work environment and employee engagement is predicted by a present physical office environment, since one environment has an impact on one cognitive, emotional, and physical well-being. Open office layout and eco-design have shifted employees' perspective on work and the way teams collaborate within physical limitation. As for the relationship between psychological work environment and employee engagement, a study shows there is a psychological work environment model that mediates the interaction between supervisory relationship, co-worker relationship, and employee engagement. According to Xiao 2021, it is crucial to identify characteristics that affects employees' psychological well-being while on work from home. As for the relationship between social work environment and employee engagement, a past review explained that employee disengagement and burnout are frequent in the social workforce environment. Some leadership claim that increasing work engagement will help employees avoid exhaustion. Instead, preventing exhaustion is more complicated than just engaging the employees. Now we move to research methodology. For the research design, I use quantitative cross-sectional survey to perform this study. For the research population and location, employees are from the manufacturing companies and the population is around 100 employees. As for the research sample size will be determined based on the Tabakh and Morgan 1970. The minimum sample size for this study is 80 employees from the manufacturing company. As for the research sampling, I use the convenience samplings for this study. Instruments. Questionnaires provided by using Google Forms to ensure the process of collecting data from the respondents smoother and easier. The language used for the questionnaire is dual language, which is Bahasa Malaysia and English. The survey are divided into 5, which is Section A consists of demographics, Section B is physical work environment, Section C is psychological work environment, Section D is social environment, and Section E is employee engagement. There are total 42 items that will be measured in this study. The pilot tests are conducted among samples from the same field, which is in manufacturing field, to determine whether any question have errors or ambiguities. The respondents that participate in this pilot study are from different companies but in the same industry. The total of respondents who participate in this study is 31. In order to check the reliability of the survey, the data from the pilot test will be tested using the reliability coefficient Cronbach alpha. The reliability test is carried out using SPSS. A reliability analysis was carried out on the physical environment, psychological environment, social environment, as well as the employee engagement scale comprising 36 items. The table shows that each of the values of Cronbach alpha value of 0.70 to 0.90 was subject to high internal reliability. As you can see, the Cronbach alpha shows the questionnaire from each variable to reach acceptability reliability, which is A alpha equals to 0.70 to 0.90. There are two types of data analysis that will be utilized in this study. In this study, demographic data were obtained for descriptive analysis. To present the demographic data, I use the table presentation, which is consists of percentage and read frequency to describing the data. As for the inferential analysis, the data will be obtained by using the SPSS. Pearson correlation and multiple regression analysis will be utilized to satisfy the hypothesis of the study. As for the hypothesis 1, 2, and 3, the hypothesis testing techniques will be Pearson correlation, while hypothesis 4 will be using multiple regression analysis. Now we will move to the result and findings of this study. I will explain about the first findings, which is respondent demographic data. As you can see in this slide, these are the table for the overall frequency and percentage of demographic characteristic. There are 82 respondents that participates in this survey. This table shows that there are 42 male and 40 female respondents total out of 82 participants. The biggest scale of respondents come from a 30 to 39 years old group with 30 respondents, whereas the rest were 18 to 29 years old with 28 respondents, 40 to 49 years old with 17 respondents, and lastly 50 years old and above with 7 respondents. The respondents consist of Bumiputra, Sarawak with total 52 respondents, followed by Chinese with 28 respondents and Indian with 2 respondents. For the work position, the bulk of respondents come from administrative clerk with percentage of 30.5%, which is 25 respondents, while general worker, sales executive or representative, lorry driver, supervisor with 19.5%, which is 16 respondent, 13 respondent, 12 respondent, and 4 respondent respectively, and 14.5%, which is 12 respondent for other works position such as accountant clerk, senior officer, operator, and manufacturing designer. Most respondents have 1 to 3 years duration of work experience with 20 respondents, whereas the rest have 4 to 6 years with 19 respondents, 13 to 15 years with 11 respondents, more than 16 years with 11 respondents, and 7 to 9 years with 10 respondents, 10 to 12 years with 8 respondents, while there are 3 respondents that have less than 1 year's duration of work experience. The next slide is reliability of instruments in actual study. This table shows the Cronbach-Alpha coefficient value. A reliability analysis was carried out on the physical environment, psychological environment, social environment, as well as employee engagement scale comprising 30 items. As you can see, these 4 instruments are quite reliable and can be used for further research, because all the Cronbach-Alpha value is higher than 0.70%. The first hypothesis testing that we will see in this study is there is a significant relationship between physical work environment and employee engagement. The result shows the null hypothesis was accepted. Pearson correlation coefficient R equals to 0.130 and the value of significance P equals to 2.46, which is P is larger than 0.05. The second hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between psychological environment and employee engagement. The result of this hypothesis is the null hypothesis was rejected. Pearson correlation coefficient are 0.394 and the value of significance shows that the p-value is 0, which is the p-value is less than 0.01. The third hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between social work environment and employee engagement. The result shows that the null hypothesis is accepted. Pearson correlation coefficient R is equal to 0.151 and the value of significance P equals to 0.174, which is P is larger than 0.05. Hypothesis number 4 is there is a dominant factors among the work environment factors that influence employee engagement. As you can see, there are 3 tables in this slides, which is model summary, ANOVAs, and coefficient. First, we see at the model summary, the R is the correlation between the predicted variables and the dependent variables. The R square of employee engagement is equal to 0.436, and when converted to percentage, R2 shows 19%. The result of these studies implies that the physical work environment and social environment has significant influences towards employee engagement, while psychological environment shows has no significant influences toward employee engagement, which is the p-value is 0. So the null hypothesis is for this hypothesis is accepted. Implication of study. Literature study will benefit in learning more about the workplace environment, the necessity of improving it, and the techniques for achieving this change. Future research will focus on the impact of the physical work environment, psychological work environment, and social work environment on employee engagement. HR professionals may be able to devise an innovative approach to dealing with employee engagement concerns. Through the potential to create workplace spirituality, effective work environment variables increases employee engagement. In developing market professional circumstances, the effect of a significant working environment plays a role in determining the quality of work life and employee engagement. Engaged employees are more likely to help them grow in their professions. In a productive working environment, private sector employees are more engaged. This study informs people by demonstrating a connection between the working environment and employee engagement. It will help the private sector by providing a comfortable working environment for employees. Employees in the private sector are more likely to perform successfully if they work in a productive environment. For the recommendation, due to the limited number of samples available, the researchers collect data via Google Form, which takes around 15 to 20 minutes to complete. As a result, only 82 of them are taking the survey for various reasons. Future researchers should discover the sources of data collection system and ensure that they are compatible with data collection system to guarantee that they are gathering the necessary information. Respondents may contribute opinions solely for the purpose of answering questions and submitting replies to surveys that investigate the working environments and employee engagement. As a result, the information bias cannot be included in the survey. The objective of this recommendation is to increase the quality of data collection. Now we reach to the conclusion. Generally, the inferential analysis of data collected on the influences of working environment on employee engagement among private sector employees indicates that there is a significant relationship between work environment and employee engagement, especially in manufacturing field. In summary, more research should be conducted on identifying the influences of working environment in increasing employee engagement. It is also essential to consider the factors of working environments, since this will help future researchers better understand the reasons of employee engagement in different samples. That's all from me. Thank you.